It's Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Great evening, Mid-Michigan and beyond, and welcome to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time to meet Team 323. Tom Crawford, Blue Belly Tom, my longtime broadcast partner covering 17 and a half years. He's a regular contributor to thewolverine.com, and he is the creator of the Crawford Podcasting Network. And a great week in Ann Arbor with the Battle for Atlantis, and congratulations, Michigan got a big hockey win today over Wisconsin. I don't know about any of the other sports.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, but congratulations, Tom.
Well, congratulations. Hey, the first half of the weekend was absolutely terrific until I got in the car and headed to A Square on Saturday morning. Wow, it's a big jolt. The disparity between Ohio State and Michigan is glaring.
And you got to stand next to Sarah Harbaugh while she was listening to the questions for her husband, right?
She was standing by her man. It was interesting. We'll show that clip a little bit later. That was funny.
Did anybody try to warn you about this Buckeye team? For like the last 11 weeks?
Did anybody tell you that Wisconsin was going to roll Minnesota?
And the last 11 weeks I kept saying it's a different Buckeye team.
Well, Rico Beard is here, and he is a longtime Detroit radio and TV personality. He's a Specs Howard broadcast instructor. He's a recruiting insider, and he is host of the Spartan Beat weekdays from noon to 1, and all eyes, all attention on the Big Ten yesterday. A lot of people interested in that Wisconsin-Minnesota game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for a second, Jack, we were going to get our 8th team to make it to Indianapolis, but now it's a small fraternity. Only 7 teams have made it.
That disappointed you, didn't it?
I really wanted Minnesota to go. I thought P.J. Fleck had something. That team was special.
No.
And I still go back to the Iowa game. He blew it by running out.
The shade is not even subtle, Tom. It's thrown at you right now.
The 3 U of M's still have not been there, so that's still a little subset.
Yeah. I thought that Minnesota had it. I thought they were going to be a new team in the fraternity.
Want to welcome Graham Couch, sports columnist for the Lansing State Journal, and he is the co-host of Couch and the Rube, weekdays from 1 to 3. Spotlight Radio Network, just in front of the Drive with Jack, and you had a busy week. I don't see much of a tan.
Yeah, well, this is about as tan as I get. I get darker than my hair, which I sort of flipped the other way. Yeah, Maui was awesome, by the way. I would live there.
Yeah.
Did you go to the beach?
Oh, yeah. I snorkeled, surfed. The picture of me surfing, though, they gave me this pink shirt. I look like this sort of pink, taupish, Incredible Hulk. It's not flattering at all. It was tight. It was
I really think
awful.
the LSJ needs a Maui bureau.
Yeah.
Can you work on that?
We'll see what happens when I turn to my expense report. We haven't gotten that far yet.
I tried to make that happen actually one time, but I spent all their money somewhere else. We'll be right back in just a minute. Out of the blue segment, we're going to talk about the Michigan Wolverines. Up next on Press Pass.
Sometimes people make mistakes, but you and your child shouldn't have to pay for them. Find out what caused your baby's birth injury or cerebral palsy. Call 1-800-CALL-SAM. The call is free, the advice is free, and the help could last a lifetime.
Woo! First in line!
Actually, you don't have to wait for Furniture Row's Black Friday Super Sale.
Don't?
Nope. Shop today for huge savings store-wide. Plus 7 years, no interest financing. And best of all, the more you buy, the more you save. No limit. Or get free gifts with qualifying purchase.
But I got a tent. It really is a great tent.
The Black Friday Super Sale, only at Furniture Row.
You do know you want a contest to spend the whole day with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to sit here and eat this delicious pizza?
We could do other things.
That was the best day ever! Treat yourself to the world's first stuffed flavored crust pizza. And now for just $6.99, try our new stuffed Howie bread filled with fresh mozzarella and cheddar cheese.
Hungry?
Howie's!
It happened right behind me. A distracted driver crossed the center line and hit our client's car head-on. She called 1-800-CALL-SAM. We fought hard for her and won. That's the Bernstein Advantage. 1-800-CALL-SAM.
Thursday Night Football on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video.
Team spirit. Face paint. more cowbell. Dean Trailway's motor coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
I thought our team was well prepared. I thought they were playing good football. I thought, that it was a good football fight. We, got away from us today. They played. Give them credit for playing well, and pretty much thoroughly went through how I saw the game unfold.
But I asked you.
Yeah, we really want to win the game.
Yes. You first.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Dumbass.
That's Jim Harbaugh and his wife, and reacting to kind of a silly question, I would think, right?
Well, the first part of the question about asking about the disparity at, the gap was a legitimate question. But asking, did you really want to win? Did you want to win, Jim?
Who asked the question?
No, this guy from Toledo. He's one of the Buckeye fan media. These guys all taunt Harbaugh in Chicago. And just they come in here and they try to get a soundbite, and that was a case of that.
Well, let's talk about the disparity.
There's disparity. Trust me.
Through 5 years, we have seen this gap widen, and I thought it would close at some point. Now we're looking at Ohio State scoring 118 in the last 2 years, and the margin yesterday was bigger than it was a year ago. What is the difference in these programs, Tom?
Well, as I indicated in the open, it's the talent gap. It's massive. Right now, Ohio State, the top 4 receivers in the country, they have 3 of them already inked for 2020. I mean, it's only going to get worse. But Ohio State was incredibly prepared for this game. I had the binoculars on this. This was an NFL type of approach to it. They did not do a lot of smack talking like other teams do. No, they were really focused, and they expected to win. And I'll tell you what, Michigan had to. It was like a tennis match. They had to play match play. And when it was 14-13, I said to myself, Michigan's going to have to score 49 points to win this game because they could not stop Ohio State. And Michigan was moving the ball very well in that first half. Yeah. But I thought Greg Madison made some really good changes, adjustments at halftime. They stopped Michigan's offense, and Michigan turned the ball over late in the second. We knew what happened, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose.
Greg Madison and Al Washington.
Yeah.
Get big victories.
Yeah. And it's, but keep in mind, I mean, Ohio State was beating Michigan like a drum before Jim Harbaugh got there. This has been going on for a long, 15 out of 16 years. This is nothing new. Yeah. And he almost beat him in 16. But this team, this is the best Ohio State team I have seen by far. And me in person, the best college football team I've ever seen in person is this Ohio State team. Complete.
95 Nebraska. 95 Nebraska.
That was awful good, too.
I wasn't at that game.
Yeah. That was awfully good, too. Rico, we have seen and heard so much.
Give me the freaking I told you.
I told you this was the best team.
We've seen so much about 1969, 50 years ago, and Bo beating Woody the first time they had this confrontation. Does it seem now like these teams are as far apart as they've been in a long time?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's
15 wins in the last 16.
15 wins in the last 16 out of the last 18. I mean, think about this. The last time Michigan won, things like Uber and an iPad and Instagram didn't exist. So it's been a while. The talent gap, as Tom said, they're getting the top players. Something happens because Michigan gets players. They just aren't as good as Ohio State players. Ohio State is the one team that you could take out of the Big Ten, plop into the SEC, and I don't think they would struggle down there.
No, they wouldn't at all. No way.
So, no, I think the talent is there. I thought that was a legitimate question that they did ask Jim Harbaugh.
About wanting to win?
No, about just the talent. I mean, the gap in is it coaching? Is it talent? Yeah. Is it scheme? You're screwing this up somewhere.
Graham, Wolverines had so many self-inflicted wounds. Jumping offside, getting personal fouls, the fumble by Shea Patterson.
That was killer.
Certainly was a killer. When you look at Michigan picked to win the Big Ten and be in the college football playoff, what happened to that team?
Well, first of all, those mistakes were part of the DNA from earlier this season. We had seen that a little bit. And I think what happens, we saw it with MSU against Ohio State. When you know you have to be perfect and you're on edge, I think you're not really yourself and everything you become. And we saw the Michigan State, the early turnovers.
The second you make one mistake, it all unravels.
That's right. Yeah. And so I think that was part of it. And even at the beginning of this year, this is sort of a crapshoot with the Big Ten. We didn't know who was. I mean, we thought Michigan State may have a special year, and that didn't really happen. But look, the talent gap isn't just Michigan, Ohio State. It's Ohio State and the rest of the Big Ten.
Big one, little 13.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's a long way. But you could argue that in some other leagues. You got that in the ACC with Clemson right now.
But in Chicago, we were all told, hey, this is going to be the year. Michigan's going to do it. They're going to break through. They were the popular choice. People were talking about them.
But who told us that? People told us Nebraska was going to win the West.
Yeah, they did. So
people don't know
really
anything
wrong about that.
They got the year wrong.
The media
It's
picked
2020, Jack.
The media doesn't know anything.
I agree. The media doesn't know anything.
In 2020, Michigan will win the Big Ten.
3 league losses, and it's now 15 years since Michigan has been the leaders at best when it's come to Big Ten football. And I think that says a lot. And when your job, your charge, is to compete with Ohio State and be with Ohio State, and it looks like you don't belong on the same field, that's not why you're making $7 million.
Right, and there's no question that the length of time is the issue now, right? I mean, that's really the issue.
We'll be right with our Going Green segment, talking Michigan State, up next.
It's that time of year again. Yep, it's the Thanksgiving sale at a craft dealership near you. Yeah, turkeys, we've got some great deals this month. You speak turkey? The Turkey Whisperer.
During the Thanksgiving sale, Hank's giving you a new Chevy Silverado Crew Cab, just $224 per month. Or get a great deal on the new Chevy Equinox, just $197 per month.
Hurry into the Thanksgiving sale at a craft dealership near you. Turkey Whisperer. You should have heard what they said about your beard.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
The student bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
It's a 911, all new Monday on Fox.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head in monthly payments, there's a secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for the credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt with a monthly payment you can afford. To see how much you could save, call now. 1-800-905-0468. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. After all, we depend on your success and offer a guarantee so there's no risk. Credit Associates. Live better, debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-905-0468.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Going Green segment, brought to you by Graf Chevrolet and Graf Nissan on West Grand River in Okemos. With 105 years in the automobile business, they'll take great care of you, as they have on all 7 of my leases and purchases. Go green, go Graf.
Exciting football game. Went down to the wire, as many of our games do. Credit Maryland, played hard, had opportunities early in the football game that got sort of squandered away for one reason or another. But we hung. We kept hanging in there. We said we needed to play through things, that this would be a game that that would be an emotional swing at some points in the game that we needed to respond and continue to stay good from an energy perspective. When you look at the football game, 2 big drives at the end of the game, really actually to kick field goals, but 2 big drives when we needed them. And big plays by Jacob Panasuk in the game. I thought that Trey Mosley with 8 catches responded. You know, we throw for a lot of yards, need to run for more, but we've got some different things going on the offensive line, you know, some young freshmen that provide some different looks and things of that nature. So we probably struggled with it when you watch the film a little bit. But some big plays by our receivers. Anthony Williams gets involved and has probably his biggest game as a Spartan thus far.
Michigan State coach Mark D'Antonio, after yesterday's 1916 escape against Maryland. It isn't easy being green, and it was a little bit tougher yesterday, Rico. An announced crowd of 51,366, many who came dressed as empty seats.
Very generous, probably the guy who used to count up the Pistons and counted up Michigan under the Brady Hoke Rich Rod years.
How many people do you think were there? 30?
Probably, yeah, I'd say probably about
20,
30.
25, something
Really?
like that.
I'd say about 30 because we can't see under the press box, but that normally fills up.
What's your take on a 6-6 team that nearly lost to a team that hadn't led in a game in 6 weeks?
I mean, I think it was just a microcosm of the season. I mean, they couldn't do anything easy. They were a 22-point favorite. That was, I think Graham put it out there, they were the 107th defense in the nation, Maryland was. Yeah. It should have been just a cakewalk. Michigan State, it should have been 21-0. They found a way to only score 3. They let Maryland back into the game. And before you know it, you have to rely on Coughlin, of all people, to win you the game. So that game was their entire season. I guess it ended happy, so maybe they win their bowl game.
6 Maryland Big Ten opponents, Graham, had scored 40 points or more. Michigan State gets 1 touchdown.
Yeah, it was 217-38 in the last 4 weeks against Maryland. Really inexcusable. And the idea that it was a program win, this was not Minnesota in 2012, and I know D'Antonio was trying to repeat history with that. That had a feel of something impressive where they showed some character, went on the road off the radar and did something. This felt like a program that's hanging on, and things are very different. It just, look, the problem now is you're tasting the bottom of the Big Ten when you play with a Maryland like this. That's a real issue.
That
that's
happened last year against Rutgers, the last game of the season. It was nearly a
But at least you had the injury and the quarterback issue then. You don't have that now. This is who you are.
Yeah, but I guess the flip side is what we'll be saying if they lost to Maryland. So they did what they had to do. They won the game, and now they're eligible for a bowl game.
The floppy hats worked.
But if this prolongs, if they don't make any changes, they're not able to do anything until January because of this. Was it better to be in a bowl game?
See, you don't have to wait till January because a lot of teams got rid of. I like what Herm Edwards did. Herm Edwards got rid of 3 guys on the offense and said, I don't need them around for bowl practices, teaching them stuff that we're not going to use anymore.
Texas just fired its defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Right.
Northwestern fired an
But I mean, Herm just said, I don't need them around for bowl practice, so I'm getting rid of them now.
So, Graham, it seems certain that Michigan State will get an invitation to play in the Quick Lane Bowl, Ford Field, on December 26th, or the Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium on the 27th. What's better for Michigan State this year, Detroit or New York?
Detroit. I know they've avoided Detroit like crazy. They've bargained themselves out of there, but to me, there's no more shame to be had. It's warmer. Your fans can see you. The things you want to get done, that you can practice, you can actually get done on a fast track in a field. Going to New York when nobody wants to be a mostly empty baseball field playing in the slop.
Wet snow.
You play in Detroit, and that'll get used against you in the recruiting.
They got to win the game.
It'll get used against you. Any top recruit from Detroit, they're going to say, really? You want to go to Michigan State just so you can play in Detroit in the bowl
You got
game?
a coach most people don't think is going to be there in a year and 18 months. So, I mean, that's getting used against them. I'm telling you, right now, it can't get worse.
It also saves them $1.5 million, which is no small amount of money. Tom, you saw the Spartans in a beatdown, and it wasn't a whole lot better yesterday, even though they got the win. We'll be right back with more. The Big Picture up next.
Hike! Get in the savings zone at Capital Honda with game-winning offers on the new 2019 Honda Civic LX, $189 a month, or new 2019 Honda CR-V EX all-wheel drive, $269 a month. You should be driving a Honda from Capital Honda.
Woo! First in line. Actually, you don't have to wait for Furniture Row's Black Friday super sale. Don't? Nope. Shop today for huge savings store-wide. Plus 7 years, no interest financing. And best of all, the more you buy, the more you save. No limit. or get free gifts with qualifying purchase.
But I got a tent. It really is a great tent.
The Black Friday Super Sale, only at Furniture Row.
Are you disabled? Have you been denied disability benefits? You need the law offices of Ronald J. Miles, an attorney specializing in Social Security benefits.
If you think you're disabled and you need assistance, let me win for you.
Download the Fox 47 News app and stay connected everywhere you go.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailways Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
So, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first, I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoyed giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
Know who you are. Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for The Big Picture, brought to you by Dean Trailways. With trips for every season, Dean takes care of the details so you can enjoy the experience, including daily casino runs and great getaways to Northern Michigan and Chicago, where Doug Warren and I were for the NFL Legends Classic. That's Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
I know what it means to everybody in the state of Ohio, and I know what it means to all Buckeyes throughout the country. And to represent them, it's an honor to have this responsibility, but I knew going into the season the expectations were really high. And this staff and what this team has done to get to this point and to win this game the way we did today, I just can't say enough about our guys, our coaches, and what we've gone through to get to this point. And it's just an unbelievable feeling.
First-year Ohio State coach Ryan Day, and yes, he does have great athletes. He also deals with incredible pressure. Urban Meyer was talking about that, and the idea of losing that game in that state, it's just, you can't deal with it. It's unfathomable. Rico, you've been a big PJ Fleck guy, had a chance with College Game Day there to get to Indianapolis, could not get it done. Now we've got a rematch, Wisconsin and Ohio State. Do the Badgers have any chance? Can they keep it close against the Buckeyes?
I thought maybe it depends on the knee of Justin Fields. If he's not able to play. Other than that, if Ohio State comes out there with their full team, I think they're already like a 15.5-point favorite in that game. No, I don't see any weaknesses in this Ohio State team.
Wasn't that game close for a while, the first one, and then Ohio State blew it out?
No, it was.
A quarter.
I mean, that's what Ohio State does. They give you a quarter to make you feel good about yourself, and then they say, okay, playtime's over. Bye-bye.
Graham, it was another crazy finish yesterday in the Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare Stadium. I think Alabama should just quit trying to kick field goals in this game. Nothing good ever happens. Taking a look at today's Associated Press standings and then looking ahead to Tuesday night with the college football playoff projections, is it possible that the Oklahoma-Baylor Big 12 championship winner is in a really good place if you figure LSU is going to beat Georgia? And what happens if Oregon knocks off Utah? Wouldn't the Big 12 finally get its team in?
It might. Same for the Pac-12. I think the Utah-Oklahoma debate is really interesting because that's what it comes down to if chalk holds, right? And in Utah, to me, I didn't get to see them till later in the year, but they look really impressive. And the Pac-12 hasn't had a team in a couple of years either. And so this is, again, why you shouldn't have 5 major leagues in 4 spots, right? Because everybody should get to prove their spot. I kind of would favor to see Utah at this point just because we've seen Oklahoma. And we've seen them in there now. But I ultimately think the brand will win.
Graham, couldn't we have both? Because I'll ask this question. Tell me the difference between Clemson's schedule and Central Florida's schedule for the last couple of years. Central Florida, they always said, didn't play anybody. Clemson won't play a ranked team this year. But we're just going to hand them a spot in the playoffs.
You make a good point. The ACC is really down and not competitive.
And we've been told Central Florida didn't make it because their schedule was
Again, this is where brand matters, and this gets you back in. It just is what it is.
defending champion.
And winning it last
year, people said Clemson didn't belong in. What did they do?
I understand.
They rolled Alabama.
But when you keep teams out like Central Florida or when Western Michigan was good and say, well, you didn't really play anybody. You played a bunch of name brand teams, but they were all hot
The
garbage.
way it's set up now, they're only putting 4 in.
Right, and the problem is we never really know. The year Ohio State won it in 14, they were the last team in. And they were the team most people think didn't deserve to be in. And they wound up being the best team, which just sort of proves that we just don't know at this stage. And that's what makes this so difficult.
And you don't never know with a 1-game deal. Sometimes the best team doesn't even win that game.
To Rico's point, that's where most deserved. People go, oh, it should be the best. Well, we don't know the best. We never actually know the best. So deserved is what matters. And that's where the argument with Clemson is to be had. The problem is those other teams are 1-loss teams, and Clemson is not. And I think an undefeated Power 5 team always gets in.
Tom, taking a final look at the Big Ten standings, is it safe to say that Nebraska, projected to win the West this summer, is the biggest disappointment, and Indiana is the most pleasant surprise?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, some people might say Minnesota was a great story, and it was a cute story. But I just think that was way overhyped. They had one good win that was over Penn State. Yeah, Nebraska was clearly the disappointment.
Minnesota didn't have to play Ohio State, Michigan, or
there you go. Thank you very much on that. But
they beat Penn State.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, they also lost to Iowa.
They did that at home. They went to Iowa and they got beat.
They beat Penn State.
So, Tom, looking at this season, Coach of the Year, Player of the Year in the Big Ten would be?
Well, Ryan Day for Coach of the Year because he just has a flawless team. And Player of the Year, I would go Chase Young, but Jalen Mayfield of Michigan completely stopped this dude. I mean, I know he's a really good player, but he went one-on-one with him and stopped him.
Played himself off my Heisman ballot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
J.K. Dobbins is the best running back I have ever seen in my life. I mean, he can squat 700 pounds. He's like a rocket ship taking off. I mean, I've seen Archie Griffin, all those cats.
J.K. Dobbins or Jonathan Taylor, Graham?
I like Taylor's body works incredible, but if you give me one game right now, I'm taking Dobbins.
There's no comparison.
But for Coach, I may go with Purdue because they've had so many injuries and stayed competitive all year.
Yeah, they didn't win any games either. We will be back in just a minute, and we're going to talk about high school state champions up next.
It's that time of year again. Yep, it's the Thanksgiving sale at a craft dealership near you. Yeah, turkeys, we've got some great deals this month. You speak turkey? The Turkey Whisperer.
During the Thanksgiving sale, Hank's giving you a new Chevy Silverado Crew Cab, just $224 per month. Or get a great deal on the new Chevy Blazer, just $245 per month.
Hurry into the Thanksgiving sale at a craft dealership near you. Turkey Whisperer. You should have heard what they said about your beard.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
The student bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
There's so much more I can teach you about murder.
This
Black Friday, the gift you really want is at Nissan's Black Friday event. Save big on Altima with available intelligent all-wheel drive. Get a low $199 per month lease on the 2020 Rogue.
With MSU-FCU's Visa Signature Card, receive 3% cash back on groceries, 2% cash back on gas, travel, and universities, and 1% cash back on everything else. Open your MSU-FCU Visa Signature Card today.
At the David Chapman Agency, we take your business insurance personally. Our expertise makes it easy for you. Experience the benefit of a local agent who cares about your business with the David Chapman Agency and Auto Owners Insurance. Visit davidchapmanagency.com.
This Black Friday, the gift you really want is at Nissan's Black Friday event. Save big on Altima with available intelligent all-wheel drive. Now, save up to $5,250 on select models.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Lansing's Best segment, brought to you by the Greater Lansing Sports Authority. Bring thousands of athletes and teams to mid-Michigan for hundreds of tournaments and special events. Hats off to the GLSA for showing just what this area can be. And what this area can be, gentlemen, is the home of state football champions. We saw that Portland St. Patrick in 8-player football time. And yesterday at Ford Field, got a double dose of championships. In the morning, we had Pewamo, Westphalia defeating Jackson Lumen Christi 14-0, blanking the 3-time defending state champions. Then a little later, we got Lansing Catholic with a big win over Almont, and people have been waiting a long time for that victory for the Cougars, and we're very happy to be joined by a pair of quarterbacks, Zach Gillespie, he is the signal caller for the Cougars, and Ethan Thalen of the PW Pirates. Gentlemen, congratulations on tremendous achievements. Both your coaches were invited to be here, but they deferred, and they said they wanted people who had better arms. So I want to congratulate also Jim Ahern and Jeremy Miller for their achievements. When you started this playoff run, Zach, when did you know what the Cougars were capable of being? When did you realize what the dream was going to be?
Well, we went down at halftime of our first playoff game versus Olivet, and the way we rallied back in that second half, I knew if our team just played like that the rest of the way, that we had something special.
And you started the playoff run with payback of Portland. That had to feel good. And then as you move through, you're getting closer and closer. And you get down to the last game. What did you expect from Almont? They had more playoff points, but they didn't have more points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, we knew they were a great team. I mean, they blew out their semifinal opponent, so we knew they had to be very good, and they had a very good defense, and we just watched a lot of film and came ready.
Even before you could play Jackson Lumen Christi, you had to beat New Lothrop, another powerhouse. You got that done. And then yesterday, how good did it feel not just to win, but to win with a shutout?
It was awesome, especially for our defense. The way they've played all year, I mean, we've really leaned on them in important situations, and especially yesterday, I mean, they blanked them, and they allowed our offense to just go do what we had to do to get the win.
Tom, Graham, you've watched a lot of teams in this area, and a lot of them have been close. But we haven't had a lot of champions here, other than PW, of course, which is
PW.
Kind of an institution. But what does it say, Graham, that we're able to get multiple champions in one year?
Well, it's interesting. I covered the Lansing Catholic opener, and they had a sense that they had a chance if they could just keep the confidence going. And no, it's great for the area because you're right. 2014 it looked like we had it. We haven't had it in this size school either in a while.
Right. Yeah, and number 2 is a pretty good quarterback, and also Alex Waters.
Alex Waters,
you talked about a lot, Tom.
Kid. Yeah, he's really good. I'll tell you what, the key element for these two, it's communities, it's family support, great families, and work ethic. And I know both families from both these communities. I know what they put into it, and I'm so happy to see those crowns for both those schools, Jack.
Guys, if quarterbacks get all the girls and all the headlines, they wouldn't get it done without teammates who are doing a lot of the heavy lifting. I'd like you both to give me a couple of players, maybe 3, who deserve a special shout out, unsung heroes, if you will. Zach, give me a couple of your teammates that we should be talking more about.
Well, first off, Sam Edwards. I mean, if you watched the game, you just saw he was a monster. I mean, he's been a monster all year. crazy stat line yesterday, and he's an amazing linebacker, smartest football player I've ever played with, and it's an honor playing with him. Bo Poljan, he works really hard in the offensive line. He's only a sophomore, but he gives his heart and soul to the game, just like the rest of the offensive line, the rest of my team. And Alex Waters, like you were saying, I mean, he's crazy athletic, and he's only a sophomore. He's got great things to come.
Ethan, about a couple of the Pirates' unsung heroes?
I'd say John Martin first. I mean, yesterday he had to play through an injury that kept him out of practice all week, and even through that injury, he was able to help our defense with 11 tackles and lead our offensive line as well. And then Carter Thalen played both ways, came in at running back and really did what we needed most. He got that second important score, hurt his shoulder earlier on in the game too, and kept going through it. And then Tanner Worth, our starting running back, had a hand injury that he played through all week, and he wasn't sure if he was able to make it, and he was able to go out there and compete and help us.
Zach, when you think about how many great quarterbacks we've seen at Lansing Catholic, how does it feel to be the guy who gave Jim Ahern the state championship as crowning achievement?
It feels amazing. I mean, I've looked up to all the guys before me. They're like heroes in my book, and it's just, we're so blessed to have Coach Ahern in the Lansing Catholic community. I mean, I couldn't think of a better guy to play for.
Ethan, we've seen 3 championships in 4 years for PW. It shows what Jeremy Miller's program has done. Something tells me he's not done, and you'll be back there at Ford Field again with Topuam, Westphalia, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the plan. I mean, everybody will continue to put in all the hard work, and the goal is obviously get back there every single year.
Zach Gillespie and Ethan Thalen, state champions. And hats off to the Cougars and the Pirates, the best in 2019. We'll be right back.
Every day there are doors to open and steps to be taken. There are chapters waiting to be written. There are simple things that mean the world, and things so complex they can change a world. There are decisions to make that make all the difference, and we have a part in all of it, every day.
You monitor every beat, track every inch, every pound. You train with everything you have, just to be the best. But when it comes to a better night's sleep, are you getting your best? Recover, rebuild, and replenish with Athlete's Choice at Denver Mattress. With B-Fit technology featuring copper-infused memory foam and ice fabric, Athlete's Choice provides optimal rest and recovery for hard-working muscle groups. Get a better night's sleep and a better day's performance with Athlete's Choice, exclusively at Denver Mattress.
Download the Fox 47 Storm Shield app and stay in touch everywhere you go.
You're up. There's an old saying, you can never have too many officials. The age of the average official is 52 and getting older all the time. We're constantly recruiting new people, younger people to join us. After you register with the MHSAA, look on the website to find an officials association near you. They'll put you in a position to succeed as an official. We all learned a lot from high school sports, and officiating is a great way to give back to the game. There's help wanted, just whistle.
Touchdown, Falcons. Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
Woody's Oasis, your healthy alternative to fast food. Woody's has the best Mediterranean food in town. Stop and see Chuck and Delita. They'll make you feel like family. Their friendly, knowledgeable staff is always willing to help.
Hi, how are you doing today? Do you want to do the homemade bread with it, or did you want to do the thin bread as the side?
They'll be sure to put a smile on your face. And as lifelong supporters of MSU athletics, you never know who might stop by. Eat Woody's and live longer.
Coulda, shoulda, Woody's.
Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road, right next to campus. Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Take It to the Bank segment, brought to you by Dart Bank, dedicated to meeting the needs of our banking community for more than 90 years with 4 convenient locations in Mason, Holton South Lansing, Grand Ledge, and the expanded Home Loan Center in Frandor. That's Dart Bank for what matters most.
Just couldn't secure it. Loose! Ken's
Nathan Bain of Stephen F. Austin. Hate to say this, Tom, but you know what it reminded me of watching it? Jalen Watts Jackson. I'm thinking, like, is he good?
Does that come into every show now?
Just about. We're trying to get him into every show. There's a special Jalen Watts Jackson sponsor. No. Graham, you had the AP ballot that I have now. Have you ever seen a bigger surprise, 27.5-point underdog, than what Stephen F. Austin did in Cameron Indoor Stadium, ending a streak of 150 straight wins over unranked visitors?
Doesn't happen often. I mean, we saw Texas Southern, which is a much lower level team, win in Breslin, and those. So every once in a while you get a game like that. But yeah, no, to win at a place like that, where you don't get any calls, and mid-majors just never going, it's just expected you're going to lose, and you're just there for the experience, is pretty amazing.
Tom, seriously, congratulations on what Michigan did. Iowa State, and then the big wins over North Carolina, and really handled Gonzaga, a team that Michigan State ran into in the preseason.
Congratulations, he didn't play.
I didn't play.
You need a little pick-me-up today.
He needs a win.
When you think about where Michigan is right now, year one for Juwan Howard, where should this team be ranked? Unranked last week, and is it crazy to think they could be number 1 or number 2 in the poll?
Well, God forbid put them at number 1, because that means they're going to lose. No, I mean, those were great wins, and if I was a voter, I would have them ahead of Gonzaga and North Carolina. But I mean, it's so early to tell. But you're going to find out really what's going to happen in Michigan in the month of December, because obviously they got to go to Louisville for the Big Ten ACC Challenge,
right.
And then they got Oregon coming to Ann Arbor December 14th, which is another viable. That's a really good team.
Yeah.
And you got Iowa and Illinois, your December Big Ten games. So, and Illinois on the road. So, hey, they're a deep team. The Franz Wagner addition is superb. Obviously, John Teskey is an absolute monster. And you're getting Livers and Xavier Simpson playing at the top of their game. It's a full package right now. Eli Brooks is a nice surprise as well.
The only reason they wouldn't be number 1 is if you're basing on preseason rankings. They have the most impressive resume to this point, probably.
It's a basketball school. What do you expect?
I just don't want them number 1.
Rico, are you surprised by what Michigan has done thus far?
I am. I mean, and it's not because I didn't think they could do it. I think it's because no one knew what Michigan was. We didn't know what Juwan Howard's offense, because Juwan didn't tell us what they were going to run. So we were all just kind of thinking, okay, I know what Beeline did, but what is Juwan going to do? And now he's in there. Now I think the thing is, now that there's tape on him, can he continue this, or people say, okay, this is how we stop Michigan? So, yeah, the month of December is going to be interesting to see how they handle success now, because they kind of just came from nowhere. I think a lot of people kind of wrote them off this year, saying, we'll give Juwan a honeymoon period for this season, and then we'll take into account next year what they're going to do.
It's a transition to an NBA style of offense.
I'll say this. I know it's not popular. It's not going to be popular with your Michigan people.
Of course not.
I think Dave JaJulius is a better option at the point guard for that offense than Xavier Simpson.
I strongly doubt. You're going to take away Xavier's 15 assists a game, 13 to 15.
I'm just saying, the scoring. Dave JaJulius and the way he can score.
He's getting 22 minutes.
Well, they're getting enough points. They're doing something right, I would say. It's hard to say after you beat North Carolina and Gonzaga. Well, you got to take your all-Big Ten player out of the lineup.
I just think that offense is built better for him.
I want to talk about the way Michigan State is built. Okay. Went to Maui, along with Graham. You and I stayed here and held the fort. Lose to Virginia Tech, barely held off Georgia and Anthony Edwards in a scary second half, and come back and beat UCLA. First time Michigan State's ever beaten the Bruins in back-to-back years. Where are the Spartans now?
I don't know. I mean, I think the Spartans are going to go how Cassius goes. And unfortunately, Cassius is just in a fragile state of mind where he's going to have good days, he's going to have bad days. No Langford, didn't get Hauser. They're going to be hurting right now.
Do the Spartans become the first Big Ten team to beat Duke twice in one calendar year? Tuesday night, 9:30, Breslin Center.
I want to say yes. Everything about me wants to say yes, but I still do.
Is it the loss that they had against Stephen F. Austin?
What do you think, Greg?
Well, they are the epitome of a work in progress right now, and you can see it. And there's a lot of layers that go into that too. Duke is a young team too, and they do have Trey Jones back, which is a big help. But this is not the Duke team of last year. That freshman class is not quite that heralded. I think in Breslin they do get it done. I think a big help was that they won that game. They won that game. They won't have sort of the weight of Duke hanging over them.
You're going to need the end zone.
I was looking for the battle of the Cassiuses. Cassius Winston, Cassius Stanley. Now Cassius Stanley has an injury.
That just means he's going to score 35 points.
That's right. Somebody will have to do that, right? We'll be right back in just a moment. Law of the Jungle segment. We'll talk about the Detroit Lions up next.
Happy Other's Day.
You mean Mother's Day?
No, I mean Other's Day. The day I celebrate all the other recyclables that should never go in your recycling bin, like batteries. Learn the rules of recycling at recyclingraccoons.org.
Woo! First in line. Actually, you don't have to wait for Furniture Row's Black Friday Super Sale. Don't? Nope. Shop today for huge savings store-wide. Plus 7 years, no interest financing. And best of all, the more you buy, the more you save. No limit. Or get free gifts with qualifying purchase. But I got a tent. It really is a great tent. The Black Friday Super Sale, only at Furniture Row.
Happy Other's Day.
You mean Mother's Day?
No, I mean Other's Day. The day I celebrate all the other recyclables that should never go in your recycling bin, like batteries. Learn the rules of recycling at recyclingraccoons.org.
Profit over patience is a different kind of battlefield. The Resident, all new Tuesday on Fox.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
This season, feel the warmth and cheer in our town. Make it a tradition. Shop Holt for the holidays.
Hi, I'm Glenda.
I'm Dave.
We're the proud owners of Craig's Auto Body, where quality and customers are number one. We operate our business the way we live our lives: honesty, integrity, and trust.
Happy holidays from the doctors and staff at Caring Animal Hospital, where we provide care for all types of pets. Happy pets, caring people, quality medicine.
This season, feel the warmth and cheer in our town. Make it a tradition. Shop Holt for the holidays.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Law of the Jungle segment, brought to you by Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road. Your healthy alternative to fast food. Eat Woody's and live longer. I'm talking about chicken shawarma with baked breast meat and hummus made fresh in a 3-day process. That's why I'm there every week. Stop and see Chuck DeLita and their terrific staff on Trowbridge, or find Woody's favorites at Tom's Foods, Horrocks, and all across MSU's campus.
I think everyone's disappointed, but I'll say this. I think that team, our team, it's one of the toughest teams I've probably ever been around. This team fights like probably no other team I've ever seen. We got to find a way to win. We got to find a way to kind of break through that thing that's stopping us right now and smash that so we can get this thing going. But you want to talk about a tough team. You want to talk about a team that fights. You want to talk about a team that's going to try to do everything they can to win. That's what we got right now. Obviously, the goal is to win, and that's what we got to get. We got to get done, and we will.
That is Matt Patricia, Thanksgiving Day, after a 24-20 loss to the Bears. Turkeys all around, and some of them showed up on the field before they wound up on our plates. Rico, why are the Lions 1-8 after that 2-0-1 start, and you only have 30 seconds?
Where's Doug at? I need angry Doug in here to do this. Why? They're a bad team. They've been bad all since they brought in Patricia. He's not the right coach. He's not the right system. I mean, you name it, they just can't get out of their own way. This
is it ownership? Is it management?
I mean,
is it coaching?
General management. I think from the top down, I think they want to win. They don't know how to win. I mean, when you take a tight end and pass on so many defensive players to take a luxury pick, that tells you we're going to do it like the Patriots. Well, newsflash, you're not the Patriots, and you're nowhere close to the Patriots.
Graham, why can't the Lions ever get it right in a league with enforced parity? We're talking about a draft where the worst get the best. We're talking about a hard cap. We're talking about parity-based scheduling.
Well, there are a couple things. One, when they've tried, it's they don't know how, right? It's the Matt Millen type hire. It's the we got to get a football guy, we get the wrong one.
Yeah.
They've also had some bad luck though, in terms of, I mean, you go back to '93, they finally start to win. When you used to win back in the '90s, you got to win for a decade. What happens? Free agency starts. Boom. What the Lions were really bad in '08. They got Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford on the old rookie wage scales. They never got the quarterback cheap that the teams get now when they build. So they have had some bad luck in that, and then they make bad choices.
Yeah,
and I don't think Patricia's the guy.
In the '90s, they had a guy, and then they fired him, and he goes to Pittsburgh, and he builds a dynasty.
No question.
There.
Yeah.
By the way, Scott Mitchell is the radio analyst for the Utah Utes, and he's not very good at that either.
I tell you what, though, when you see him and Johnny Morton and Herman Moore and all those guys prepare him, it is nostalgic, though. You miss those days. You miss Scott Mitchell. That's how bad the Lions are. You see that, and you're like, oh my God, Scott Mitchell. I kind of miss him.
Tom, taking a look at the scores this week through today's afternoon games, what impresses you?
Well, the Baltimore Ravens impressed me. I love Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend because I don't have to feel obligated to watch the Lions. I watch real football, and they beat the Niners today, 20-17. That's two really, really good teams. It was in the rain. Lamar Jackson is a real deal. I mean, he didn't play that well. I think the Patriots are going to have a hard time, in my opinion, getting by the Ravens to get back to the Super Bowl.
How about the Bills?
Yeah, against the Cowboys?
Dallas?
Yeah. On Thursday, it seems a long time ago, but that was a big win for them, and they're for real, and the Cowboys are just in a tailspin right now.
That's when it stinks to be a Lions fan, when the Bills are for real and you can't be for real.
Let's take a quick look at the playoff picture if we can. I think we have this here. Tom, looking at what we have right now, give me a potential wild card team that could win a postseason game.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs instead of the Bills. What they did, I saw them against the Raiders today in the AFC and in the NFC. Wild card team, let's go with the Packers.
Nah, Seahawks. Seahawks' only problem is they're in the 49ers division.
So say watch the Vikings. I think the Vikings have a defense. They've got Dalvin Cook. Cousins stays hot. Could cause some trouble. We'll be right back with our weekly awards. Cool and Smooth up next.
It's that time of year again. Yep, it's the Thanksgiving sale at a craft dealership near you. Yeah, turkeys, we've got some great deals this month. You speak turkey? The Turkey Whisperer.
During the Thanksgiving sale, Hank's giving you a new Chevy Silverado Crew Cab, just $224 per month. Or get a great deal on the new Chevy Equinox, just $197 per month.
Hurry into the Thanksgiving sale at a craft dealership near you. Turkey Whisperer. You should have heard what they said about your beard.
Woody's Oasis, your healthy alternative to fast food. Woody's has the best Mediterranean food in town. Stop and see Chuck and Delita. They'll make you feel like family. Their friendly, knowledgeable staff is always willing to help.
Hi, how are you doing today? Do you want to do the homemade bread with it, or did you want to do the thin bread as a side?
They'll be sure to put a smile on your face. And as lifelong supporters of MSU athletics, you never know who might stop by. Eat Woody's and live longer.
Coulda, shoulda, Woody's.
Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road, right next to campus.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
It's America's favorite guessing game, The Masked Singer, all new Wednesday on Fox.
At Stadium Auto Connection, we stock our inventory every day to help you find a vehicle that fits your lifestyle. Choose from a wide selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs from leading brands. Stop in for a hassle-free car buying experience. Baby!
Are you disabled? Have you been denied disability benefits? You need the law offices of Ronald J. Miles, an attorney specializing in Social Security benefits.
If you think you're disabled and you need assistance, let me win for you.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for a Cool and Smooth segment brought to you by the 5 Culver's locations in mid-Michigan. Since 1984, Culver's has been delighting guests one meal at a time with scrumptious Butterburgers and premium frozen custard. That's Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
Carlo Kemp. Guys, watch this. They untied the shoe of Dobbins down there. Look at him. Hutchinson and Kemp, they're working on the shoe, and then they pulled it off of his foot. Dobbins looks back like, hey, What are you doing?
Coach, I agree, and we're not holding up to our end of the bargain. We can't give all of our energy before the game and not have that type of energy after the game because we went out there and we got rolled over basically. I'm exhausted. I'll be honest with you, I'm exhausted because I put a lot of emotion into it as a fan and as a former player, and to watch what happened today, we played a better team. Make no mistake about it. Give them credit for the way they came out here, handled business. To me, it just seems like this game, we talked about this, you talk about a way of life, it's evident for that team that it's a way of life. I don't know how we get back to it, but we got to get back to that.
Joe Klatt with one of the most interesting penalties I've seen in a long time. Never seen that one before. And Charles Woodson, he did a great job before the game with that flag. I don't know if you could see him with that, waving the banner.
Yeah.
And with Urban Meyer. All right, Team 323, who's been as cool and smooth as a Culver's mint explosion this week? Rico Beard, play of the week.
Well, play of the week, I could go to a bunch of touchdowns that happened in Ann Arbor, but I won't.
Thank you.
For you, Tom. Because there really wasn't nothing about those. That was easy. Play of the week. You don't hear this often.
Yeah.
Nick Saban was out-coached.
Yeah.
Gus Malzahn, on 4th down, out-thought Nick Saban in the most brilliant chess move.
Yeah.
Stuck his punter out there, stuck Bo Nix out there, his quarterback, and a wide receiver. Nick Saban didn't know what to do and started doing this mass substitution, and they got caught with too many men on the field.
Right.
Automatic first down,
Classic.
game over.
Yeah.
Alabama loses, and then people jumping in bushes because they are
I know, what was
just
that
dumb.
about?
But that was the play right there. Because you don't see, Nick Saban is like the godfather.
Graham, what about our game of the week? What do you have?
Game of the week's a game I saw in Maui, and Dayton versus Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
And you get a lot of early season basketball that's ugly, early season college basketball, a lot of games that are ruined by officiating and 2 fouls early and stars are taken out of the game. We've seen that already. But every once in a while, you get one of these treats. Small gymnasium.
Yeah.
You get a upper tier mid-major that's going to be a tournament team that's got guys and got an NBA draft pick on their team, and a Kansas team that's a top 5 team. And it was a heavyweight matchup in a high school gym in November in a well-played game with coaching chess matches, with players hitting shots and lead changes. It was one of the more enjoyable college basketball games this time of year I've ever seen.
I listened to that game on a car radio, and I could not get out of the car to go get
incredible.
my order. It was just one right after another. Just heavyweight knockout punches. Tom, what about our team of the week?
Team of the week. When I can go local, I'm going local. For 2 teams that we had here earlier representing, I'm not talking about Michigan basketball. I'm talking about PW and Lansing Catholic. Winning 5 games to win a state championship. That's a big accomplishment. Kudos to those 2 programs. Outstanding programs that win every year. Great coaches. Kudos to the Pirates and the Cougars.
Well said. Our player of the week, should mention Kenny Willekes is the first Michigan State defensive player to be 2-time team MVP. Congratulations on that. And passing Julian Peterson for the tackles for losses record. But Nathan Bain and what he did for Stephen F. Austin. Now here's the beauty of this story. His family lost everything with Hurricane Dorian, and his father's church wiped out. So they start a GoFundMe account. They think they're hoping they can get $2,000. After this basket, they now have $137,000. And the school's got to figure out how we distribute this. The NCAA's like, da, 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 da. Well, what do we do, right?
Just let it go.
It was approved, though. I think it was approved, right? So they're going to let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, absolutely.
That hate for Duke is real.
Let it help.
Whatever it takes.
Everybody was a lumberjack that night.
Want to thank Blue Belly Tom Crawford, Rico Beard, you'll hear him on the Spartan Beat, and Graham Couch, columnist for the Lansing State Journal and Couch in the Room. We'll see you next week, everyone. Have a great week.